All right, guys. Welcome to Cody's Chopper Corner. This is the first episode of hopefully many if you guys like them. I am going to be covering a couple things in this video about building a chopper, or kind of just owning a chopper, what it means to have one, and what you can expect. A little bit about myself. I am not an expert. I am not a professional. This is a hobby of mine, a passion of mine, and take what I say with a grain of salt. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, and maybe I do things a little different than you, but these are the things that I found that have worked, so don't be too harsh on me. Yeah, so let's get into it. All right, so let's get started. What is a chopper? It's probably a little bit easier if I kind of take you guys down a little bit of a history of what a chopper is and kind of how they started. It's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where this all began, but a lot of people think it was from the soldiers coming back from the war, and probably the mid to late 40s, early 50s. These guys were coming back. They had a crazy time in the war. They were kind of addicted to that lifestyle of like high adrenaline and adventure. So they came back and didn't have a lot to do when they got back. A lot of them just kind of grouped back together with the guys they were over there with. And something they had in common was the bikes they used to ride while they were in the service, But you're talking like 45-inch flatheads and EL 61-inch motors, like knuckle motors and stuff. Not until 1941 did they come out with the 74-inch FL motor, which was a little better, but they're still not fast. And so what guys were doing is they were stripping off all the unnecessary stuff. It's kind of where the term bobber comes from, because that's kind of how it started. Was guys were bobbing the rear fenders and taking the front fenders off, and just kind of trying to lighten these bikes up so they could go a little bit faster. And with that, with the lightening of the bikes and just trying to get them to not suck, basically, they kind of started their own style. Guys liked the way they looked, and they were trying to put slimmer bars on them, and they were trying to be able to fit in between the cars and stuff like that, so they kind of wanted to get rid of everything that wasn't absolutely necessary to make the motorcycle run. And I think that kind of just evolved over time into, like I said, its own different style of motorcycle. Guys just got creative with paint and molding, like in the 70s is when you'd start to see a lot of the molded bikes and stuff like that. Personally, my favorite is probably like the mid 60s style, Northern California, Southern California style choppers. But everywhere's got their own different styles, and that's another video I kind of wanted to dig into later, was like all of these bikes when they first started coming out. Like the East Coast had its own style, the Midwest had its own style, and then like California, it was like broken up into like a couple different styles. So it's really cool to be able to look back on a photo and be like, oh yeah, that's like a Midwest El Forasteros bike, or like a Dick Allen bike or something like that. So anyways, yeah, let's kind of dig into it, what it means to build a bike. I get a lot of people that will ask me that are starting to get into it, like, Like, what does it really entail to have a bike like this, or like what can I expect? And honestly, like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, it's hard. You know, you're always out wrenching on them. They're always breaking. Like, you're talking, I don't know, 30s, 40s technology that you're trying to keep on a modern highway, like with the modern speed limits, you know, like, it's not easy on them. There's stuff you can do to help out with that, and we'll get into that in later videos also. But yeah, like, a big thing you need to keep in mind is, do I have a place and tools and skills to work on these bikes? Even if you have someone build a bike for you, it's kind of never done. You're always changing stuff on it. Stuff's always breaking, so you're always having to fix it. Do you have someone around you that's willing to help, you know? And when I first got into motorcycles, or choppers for that matter, I didn't really have anyone around me. My dad and grandpa, none of those guys are into that stuff, so I kind of went in blind. I made a lot of really dumb mistakes that could have been avoided, and I'm kind of going to try to help some people steer away from that. So if I can do that, that'll be really cool. Hopefully you guys like these videos. But yeah, let's jump into it. You gotta definitely keep in mind, like I said before, you're gonna have to be working on this stuff all the time. Like, there's really no way around it. Like, as you go on, you'll get better. As you're riding, you'll hear a little noise or feel something that seems odd. Check it out. Don't just ride it out. Like, pull the bike over, figure it out, because little problems can easily turn into big problems. Definitely on these older bikes. So yeah, you can, like I said, you can have someone build you a bike, and that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of builders out there today that I would be thrilled to have build me a motorcycle, you know? But there's something special about taking something, changing it, touching every nut and bolt on the bike, and making it your own. You know, like, I have friends that have built motorcycles that I ride with, that when I look at their motorcycle, I'm like, oh man, that's so-and-so's bike. You can just tell. Like, it's got their personality put into it, their blood, sweat, and tears. So that's a very fun aspect of these things, you know? It's not easy. Like, I'll say it again, like, I see a lot of people get into this, wanting to be that cool guy they saw on Instagram or whatever, and it turns out that it's a lot more work than they want to put into it, and that's fine too, you know? Like, it's not for everybody. Yeah, just keep that stuff in mind, you know? Like I said, I want to do a couple more of these videos. This is kind of just like a tester to see how it goes. Just, if you're into it, you're into it. You know, stick with it. Get out there, work on stuff, ask questions, try new things, you know? These bikes are like a blank canvas. You can do whatever you want. Some shit doesn't work and probably hasn't been done for a reason, and there's stuff that's classic, you know, that always works. So, you know, you kind of get in where you fit in, figure out what you like, what you don't like. With stuff like this, it's always like, it's whenever you get into something new, you're gonna make dumb mistakes. Getting shitty tattoos that later on you're just like, man, I wish I would have saved that spot for something cool, you know, now that I know what I know. And hopefully I'll be able to help some people with that. Hopefully you can kind of skip the whole flat black, white walls with red rims thing. Or if that's your thing, that's your thing, whatever. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and if you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. Like, if you think I'm a douche, whatever, like, let me know in the comments. I really truly do like to help people out when I can, and if you guys have comments or like ideas for more videos, like, let me know. I'm all ears. So thanks again, guys, and yeah, get out there and work on your stuff.